the COVID narrative finally fallen apart? I never thought I'd say this, but NBC is starting to think so.
The CDC is under fire for messaging confusion on masking.
Once you are fully vaccinated, 2 weeks after your last dose, you can shed your mask.
The window for boosters.
For up to 6, 8, we don't, perhaps longer.
6 months, 5 months.
And most recently, a change to recommendations that people infected with the virus isolate for 5 days instead of 10 without a testing requirement.
That antigen test was actually not authorized for this purpose, and its information would not be useful.
People are getting concerned about why not test people at that time. I myself feel that that's a reasonable thing to do.
Now, half a dozen former members of President Biden's COVID-19 Transition Advisory Board are calling for a new approach.
It does feel like a bit of a choose your own adventure.
And they argue the country needs a national strategy for a new normal.
I think we're getting a new variant in the narrative. That's my thought. But more on that later. Good Monday. This is the Chocolate Knox with your cross-politic daily news brief for Monday, January 10th, 2022. COVID is affecting everything, and some of the effects, they are immediate, like slowing the supply chain, work, lockdowns, and education. But others might take years to realize just how bad we've messed things up. One of those areas might be in the development of our children. A new study from Columbia University Irvine Medical Center says that babies born during the first year of the pandemic are displaying less social and motor skills than other children born prior to the health crisis. They're noticing this in young children regardless of whether their mothers actually had COVID-19 or not. At 6 months of age, the infants scored lower on social and motor development tests in comparison to babies born before the start of the global pandemic in March 2020. The study author suspects that the material suggests that maternal stress due to lockdowns and worrying over work and health issues may be responsible for this change. You don't say. I want to add that taking into consideration that a baby now is looking at masked people everywhere. I mean, babies in the last 2 years have seen less smiles, less care, less joy, less friendly faces of people because of a mask. Have you thought about that at all? Dr. Danny Dimitri, in a university release, said we were surprised to find absolutely no signal suggesting that exposure to COVID while in utero was linked to neurodevelopmental defects. Rather, being in the womb of a mother experiencing the pandemic was associated with slightly lower scores in areas such as motor and social skills, though not in all areas, such as communication or problem-solving skills. The results suggest that the huge amount of stress felt by pregnant mothers during these unprecedented times may have played a role. Stress, huh? The finding comes from the review of 255 babies that were born in the New York area between March and December 2020. These, quote, this is from Dr. Dimitri again, these were not large differences, meaning that we did not see a high rate of actual developmental delays in our sample rate of a few hundred babies, just small shifts in average scores between the groups. He continues to say, but these small shifts warrant a careful attention because at the population level, they can have significant public health impact. We know this from other pandemics and natural disasters. We've learned lots of things from other pandemics and natural disasters that we're not actually applying here, Doc. Let's take a tour around the West, shall we? Republican governors in the United States may be championing the cause of the vaccine resistant and suing to stop the mandates imposed by the Biden administration. Thank you very much, guys. But elsewhere in the West, the jabless are increasingly becoming persona non grata.
Nearly 90% of French aged 12 and over are vaccinated. The unvaccinated, Macron said, I really want to piss them off. And so we're going to continue doing so until the end. That's the strategy. Macron also called them irresponsible and said he planned to make their lives so complicated they'd end up getting the shot. The draft bill up for discussion will make it mandatory for people to show proof of vaccination to enter a restaurant or cinema or take the train.
Huh. Never mind the fact that the vaccines don't actually work right now. They're just not working. Just as many people with the vaccine are catching Omicron and have been catching COVID. On the other side of the world, Australia's prime minister appeared to be making the same political determination as the French president Macron, that it pays to ostracize the unvaccinated. Australian Open defending men's champion Novak Djokovic, I think I said that right, Novak Djokovic, everybody's seen him everywhere because he's actually fighting for his life and ability to be able to defend his championship, who is actually unvaccinated, saw his visa canceled by the federal authorities after a dispute over whether he truly qualified for a medical exemption from the Australian rules that require vaccinations for visitors. The kerfluffle left the wealthy athlete stuck in a dingy detention hotel. And you might not want to call it a hotel. It's a detention center. It's just at a hotel. He took his case to court and ultimately securing his release just today, but not before the tennis star had to turn into a global lightning rod for the anti-vax movement. And with Australian authorities suggesting they still might try to take his visa again. And you don't even want to think about being unvaccinated in Austria right now. You would have thought that dividing people up between the unvaccinated and the vaccinated would ring alarm bells that go all the way back to Auschwitz, but no, it doesn't. On February, a mandate will take effect that will cost you thousands of dollars in running quarterly fines if you are unvaccinated. Increasingly, the West is rewarding the vaccinated while maintaining pandemic-related burdens on the unvaccinated. So answer me this. What do you do with someone who is completely vaccinated with all of their shots? What are we at, like 4 or 5 now? And still gets COVID and maybe even, I don't know, spreads it a little bit. Who am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about AOC. Or AOC, but she is a she. She has tested positive for COVID-19 and is experiencing symptoms. A statement from her office announced this on Sunday. This comes just days after she was seen in Miami partying it up. Get this, maskless. Seems like she's enjoying herself, having a great time. Who cares? Do your thing, boo. In the words of Tupac, girl, I ain't even mad at you. But can we please stop with this false science lie that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated? She's been vaccinated up the wazoo and she still caught COVID. It's not a pandemic of the unvaccinated. We should just stop with that. And, I don't want to shame people that are actually acting normal. She's at a party. Everybody should be at a party. Everybody should be doing whatever they want to do with their lives that they have already scheduled to do. Founded in 2018, the Reformage exists to edify Christians with products and services that build the kingdom of God and proclaim the gospel to all. Praise God. They have created products that are unique and useful, beautiful, and humorous. They also have wood art, engraved wall art, apparel, drinkware, which I currently have some of, decals, stamps, and much more. They also regularly make custom merchandise at a wholesale price for churches and ministries and businesses that want to add and expand their product offerings, in turn increasing revenue. Who wouldn't want to do some of that? Please use the promo code FLF22 for 10% off of your first order. Reformsage.com is where you can do that at. Happening now at reformsage.com. All apparel is marked down until Super Bowl Sunday. No promo code is needed for that. Shirts are $20, hoodies are $30 and more. They are changing their apparel vendors and removing some of their designs. They don't know if at this time if the color or sizing options that they have are available for you if you're looking for your size. So you better come before March 1st. So if there's an apparel combo that you want, design, size, color, you better grab before it's gone for good. The sale ends February 6th. Go to reformsage.com. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, is in a knockdown, drag-out fight with the Chicago Teachers Union, and I'm enjoying this right now, canceling school again today and maybe the rest of the week.
Let me start with this. Are kids going to be in school this week in Chicago?
Well, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that happens. And to be clear, what the Chicago Teachers Union did was an illegal walkout. They abandoned their posts and they abandoned kids and their families. We are working diligently every single day at the bargaining table to narrow the differences and to get a deal done. My team has been working every single day. They're back at it again here Sunday. They were at it yesterday. And we can get a deal done if there's goodwill on both sides. But fundamentally, what we cannot do is abandon the science. We know that the safest place for kids to be is in-person learning in schools.
Ask me if my kids are going to school this week. Go ahead, ask. Yes, they are. You know why? Because they don't go to government schools. That's right. Chicago's Teachers Union President Jesse Sharkey held firm to his organization's demands over the weekend. In his defiance, the union leader called the city's mayor relentlessly stupid for asking teachers, get this, to return to work. I'm loving this. The nation's third largest teachers union has been in a renewed standoff with political leaders since last week. It's more than 25,000 members encouraged not to return to in-person classes until stringent health and safety rules are implemented. Boy, they really called this one on themselves, didn't they? They did this one. They Kurt Cobained it. They did it to themselves. Its desired rules include large-scale COVID-19 testing and KN9, not just any mask, KN95 mask wearing, as well as establishment of thresholds for the district to shift the fully remote classes in accordance with citywide positivity rates rather than positivity rates within the individual districts. City leadership, however, has so far refused to give in to the radical demands, calling them noise and misinformation intended only to scare parents. If I was a parent and sending my kid to government schools with you idiots, I should be scared. It sure feels good right now if you're a homeschooler to be a homeschooler, doesn't it? Your kids, they don't have to worry about stopping or slowing down or changing one thing over the last 2 years of their education. Imagine what type of advantage that they are getting. Never mind the fact that education is better too. You just can't beat that. This seems like right now a perfect time to talk about our sponsor, Classical Conversations. They support homeschooling parents by cultivating the love of learning through a Christian worldview in fellowship with other families. They provide a classical Christian-centered curriculum, local like-minded communities across the United States and in several countries, and they train parents who are striving to be great classical educators in the home. For more information and to get connected, please visit the website, classicalconversations.com. Classical Christian, get connected, get community, classicalconversations.com. Over the last 18 months between March 2020 to August 2021, America's armed forces experienced 43 deaths attributed to COVID-19. Over the past 4 months, from September through December, the military has seen the same number of deaths. This is according to the report from the Pentagon reviewed by Newsweek. This increase in military deaths comes despite the fact that 96%, in case you missed that, 96% of active duty soldiers have been fully vaccinated. The Omicron variant has emerged as the dominant strain of COVID-19 in the United States. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported this on December 20th. With it has come a 215% increase in cases over the past 2 weeks and an 82% uptick in hospitalizations. We can kind of fix the hospitalization thing if we did more monoclonal treatments. And scream it to the mountaintops. Increased at a far less rapid rate is deaths. They're only at 16% with Omicron. Amid the surge in contractions, a number of states, including California, Rhode Island, have imposed non-working, non-scientific mask mandates again. Cities including Boston and Washington, D.C. have ratcheted up their requirements on what indoor spaces one can enter without actually being vaccinated. The Pentagon has also followed suit. They're ramping up their preventative measures also. Preventative measures like, hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin or other monoclonal antibody therapies. Are they using any of those? Stop it. Don't forget, support Rowdy Christian Media by joining our club at fightlaughfeast.com, downloading our app at your favorite app store. You can get updates on all the cool stuff going down on the shows that we have that are dropping. It is our hope that with you and your partnership together, we can fight outdated and compromised media, engage news and politics with the gospel of Jesus Christ, and replace lies and darkness with light and truth. Go to fightlaughfeast.com.